Hello, I'm Chris Gregory and we're at Heartland Horseshoeing School today. So we're going to start out with the Patten Bar this morning. The Patten Bar will cause you to have an elevated heel, and a horse that wears it as a rest shoe, you can use it for lots of things. We've had it on horses with broken humeruses, a lot of severed tendons. It's an exceptional shoe for horses with severe injuries. It takes that foot and makes it do a lot less work, or that leg do a lot less work during the course of the day. It'd be similar as if you were to have a 2x4 on the bottom of your foot. Your foot that was elevated during most of the day would do a lot less work than the foot that was on the ground. So a Patten Bar does the same thing for a horse that has a bad injury. We're just going to find center to start with. Lots of ways to do that. Measuring with a tape measures or a ruler is pretty common. You can also do it with an anvil devil, just balance the steel. And there's my center punch. We're just going to make a hind toe bend in the middle of this. Now, a couple things to be aware of. When you have a shoe that has a lot of stuff besides the shoe, like a bar shoe, then I'll choke up on my tongs, put more material past my horn, and it's like I'm just building the shoe in the center. If I hold way up here and I have it like this, then there's a lot of material there to be influenced by my hammer. So choke up, a lot past the horn, make a hind toe bend as if it were just a hind shoe. And then we'll go from there to building the bar shoe. All right, so we just brush it, find our center punch mark, round side of my hammer, try to maintain 0 degrees with my hammer, my tongs, and my stock, make a tight toe bend. So it starts out as a hind toe bend. Then I'll come up on the horn, set my toe, and I'll start hemming. Hemming prepares the steel for a crease. Now we'll go ahead and mark our fuller in at this time. I used to fuller my Patten bars completely before I did the bar, so the bar wouldn't be in my way. But I have found since that I can either lower that bar a little bit or use a different fuller to fuller the other side, so it's not as critical as I once thought it was. All bar shoes should be fullered or creased. If you're putting a bar shoe on anyway, the animal has a problem, and you don't want to be wrenching on his foot to pull out individual nails. But by fullering, you're able to get an individual nail out easily without causing a lot of problems to the foot. Also, if you come back at a later date and want to remove the shoe, instead of having to wrench on an injured leg or an injured foot, you can pull individual nails to take the shoe off. Okay, so there's where we start. With a Patten Bar, I want to build my left branch first, because if I build it first, then it's out of my way when I'm building the right branch. If I build the right branch first, then whenever I come and try to build my left branch, I got stuff in my way. All right, we're going to come to kind of a rounded corner on the near side of my anvil. I'm just going to drop my tong hand as I hit, and I'm bending away from my toe bend. Now inertia is going to cause that to get a bow in it, so before I do anything else, I'll come inside and kind of prepare my quarter. All right, I want it bent pretty close to straight out. I'll lay this on the edge of my anvil so that my shoe is straight, and the piece is going to be the bar sticking straight off the side. Hit that down, right around that corner. Turn it up. Now I'm going to do a heel check while I have the opportunity. Okay, to start this bending, I come to the step of my anvil and just get a bend started. Mark that around. And then I can bend my quarter. And your Patten Bar is half made. We're going to do this a little slower this time. And you'll see here it's pretty handy to have that going to my left. If I had built the other one, this could be potentially in my way there. So I hit here, I'm going to drop my hand, and you'll notice that this is bowing on me. I can't avoid that happening, so I got to counteract that. Okay, so I have that bent away, and again, if this were coming the other way, I'd be in trouble here. But I can get inside of it now because that's bent the other way. All right. All right, after you make your first bend, then turn the shoe over so that the ground surface is down. Line up this branch with the edge of your anvil, and I'm going to knock that over. When I do, this branch is going to want to twist on me. So I got to hit it on top. Okay, now we're set up very nicely to put a heel check on. I can come right in here and just do the same blow we've been doing for a heel check. Kind of clean that up right there. Now to bend this up, come to the step of my anvil, and that gets it started bending. Once it started bending, it's a simple matter of hitting it to make it come over. Okay? And then I'll bend my quarter around. Okay, now our Patten Bar is set up and ready to weld. Now I find this a weld that I like to do with my cross peen, because you can get into the corner and get rid of your seam a lot easier than you can with the edge of your hammer. So I'll use the cross peen to weld that up. We're going to flux this shoe. We use Iron Mountain most of the time, but whenever we're in the shop with a coke fire, if we do flux, we'll use borax. To weld, I want to hit flat with my hammer first. Then I'll use that cross peen to blend away that seam. Take it on the horn, and again the cross peen to take away the seam. As soon as I'm done welding, or as soon as my seams disappear, I quit hitting it and get a second welding heat. Whenever you weld, you have the two pieces of material together. My first blow gets all the stuff and between the two pieces and squirts it out. That's why the sparks fly straight out. The molten material, the scale, loose pieces of coke, whatever, gone. But the seams are sticking up. Then I'll raise my hand slightly using the toe of my hammer. I'll blend away the seam. In the case of a cross peen, I use the cross peen portion to blend away that seam. So now I'm stuck here. I'll turn it over, do the same thing here. Now I'm stuck like this, but there's a hole in the middle. If I keep hitting, I'm only going to break away the seams. So join the seams, then get your second welded heat and blend it all away. Okay, as I hit, I'm going to raise the shoe. By doing that, that gives me really good access to clean up my bar. I'm using the round side of my hammer right there. So that gives me a little bump right there, and it cleans up the back side of my bar. Now to lower it, simply just hit as you lower the shoe. Okay, to straighten up my bar, I'm using the straight top of my horn to straighten up that bar. Okay, so in essence, our Patten Bar is done. We got to go ahead and shape our bar up a little bit better, close the shoe up, and finish our fullering. But we have the main portion of the shoe complete at this time. Nice heat at the horn, at the bar, and we're just going to start cleaning up that shape there. So, I want to hit there as I raise the shoe slightly. I can crisp these up. There and there. Again, working on my horn, on the straight spot of my horn to clean up that bar. Okay. Now, one thing that's important on a Patten bar is that the bar is as wide as the shoe, the widest part of the shoe. So we've done that. We made sure that we had enough bar for that particular type of shoe, and everything is in place now. So we'll complete the shoe. All right, now we're just going to go through shaping a hind. Come around my toe. I'm going to turn, straighten up that branch, bend my quarters around. Turn the shoe around, do the exact same thing from the other side. Beyond, turn, straighten up that branch, bend my quarters around. Okay, now the shoe's ready for fullering. It's easy to fuller this way because the bar is not in my way. When I come around this way, I've either got to have a fuller like this one that's tall enough, or if you have a really tall bar, then maybe you should get another fuller and you can fuller this way. Okay? So you have two choices there. When you fuller, just make small moves, just move a little bit at a time, and move the shoe under your hammer. Don't walk around it. Okay, when I get to the end of my fullering, I'm going to hit one slat, I'm going to drop my hand, hit, and I'm going to drop again until I line this outside corner up with this inside corner. It is the opposite whenever you start. Whenever you start your fullering, you'll have it up in the air, hit, 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 and you're lining that corner up over that corner to make a nice crisp. You want to have a nice crisp start and stop to your fullering. Okay, going to finish my hemming here just a little bit. Now I'm going to fuller towards me. So I lift my fuller, and then I just start going from there. Now you notice how I move that shoe under my fuller. Now, anytime I do a bar shoe, I want to have a lot of nailing opportunity. So it's not uncommon for my bar shoe to have 10, 12 holes in it. It's not that I'm going to use 10 or 12 nails. It just means that if I have a nail that doesn't work, I can go to another spot. Or when I reset, I can always find fresh foot to nail in. So after you fuller, put your drift in. Now you're going to clean up your frog eyes. Hit the back side. And then pritchel. Straight up and down the heels. A little more angle as you move toward the toe. Okay, now there's two levels to be concerned with on a Patten bar. First, you have the level of the foot itself on the shoe, and then you have the level of the shoe on the ground. As such, a Patten bar should almost always have a rocker toe. All right, one good way to really clean up your bars with a flatter. And we don't need to hit it very hard, but we'll come right into the corner, and then right into the corner. Lay that down a little bit. Okay, and then I can clean up the inside of my heels here as well with a flatter. Okay, and you can do that yourself without a striker, but if you do, your shoe is going to have a good chance of falling and going all over the place. So it's always handy to have another hammer if you can. All right, so that cleaned up my bar. And our last move is going to be put this rocker toe on. Okay, when I do my rocker toe, I'll hold the center of my bar, come past my closest edge, and as I hit across that toe, I simply lower my tongs until I feel like they're level with the anvil. Now I'll slide to here, and bring my shoe level through the heels and turn it up and hammer lightly on my rocker toe there. And at this point here, you may have to, I don't know if you can see there, but my bar is just slightly up at the back. So I'll just come here and I'll just hammer around the back of my bar. It's a common thing to have happen. All right, now we've satisfied all the requirements for our Patten bar. Our bar is wider than the shoe itself. We have taken into account the level for the foot as well as the level on the ground. As I told you guys, oftentimes a forging demo can be boring. Rasping demos are always boring. So, you know, the horse won't mind that shoe going on the foot like that. Obviously, if we were in a contest or something, we'd have to do some filing on it. But all right, so we finished our Patten bar, and again, this is a shoe that is incredibly useful on a horse with an injury, whether it be a severed tendon, even a bad cut on the leg. This shoe allows this horse to have a little bit of rest, which is not an easy thing for a horse. They don't make good patients. You can't just tell them to lay in bed with their feet up for 6 weeks, and you can't cast them very easily either. But this shoe, in conjunction with good veterinarian care and, you know, maybe some casting, maybe some drugs, maybe some wrapping, this shoe can be a big part of fixing a horse.